Hello, everyone. We have very special guy from Hive blockchain, Taskmaster. So he's very good author. He's writing a lot of great posts, and he's very involved in the Hive. And we will know about him and about Hive a lot of things. So hello.
How are you today?
I'm fine. So can you tell us, please, about yourself a little bit?
Yeah, I mean, I went to, I guess going back, I went to school for economics many years ago, decades ago, and realized somewhere throughout the curriculum that these professors, this doctor this MBA that, they really weren't the ones. I had enough business sense to know they weren't the ones who built the economy, and basically they were all full of crap. So, and that's a view of economists that I still carry with me to this day for the most part. And so I get out of school, and what do you do when you have no degree that's applicable to anything? You go look for a job. And so I ended up in sales and marketing, and did different things there for about close to 30 years. And around the turn of the century, I got involved in an industry that digitized. And I'm not really a bits and a bytes guy, but that got me interested in technology from about a 5,000 foot level. And so for, close to 25 years now, I've been following different technologies over the past couple decades. I'm kind of a technologist futurist, if you will. And that's actually what brought me to cryptocurrency. I had found Bitcoin in an article, I don't know, probably 2011, maybe 2012. And I really wasn't interested so much in the financial aspect of things, but I was interested in the technological aspect of things, of blockchain and things of that nature. And, I did one of those, I have to throw 500 bucks at this, but I'll get to it later. And I did get to it later, about 5 years, when I finally did buy into Bitcoin around 2016, I think it was. But in that time, I kept following more of the blockchain and technology. I didn't really look at the financial aspect of things. And
What did you like about Bitcoin in that time?
well, as I said, it was the financial, not the financial, the technological aspect of things, the distributed ledger technology, the immutability, the decentralization, the ability to establish a new financial system without intermediaries. That was really what appealed to me more than this idea of, here's an asset that might balloon in the future. And then I think it was around 2015, Ethereum came out with the smart contract technology, which of course that changed everything completely, because that allowed it to move from just a ledger of just simple transactions to now you could actually code things in for governance. And then of course, new token creation, new NFT creation, a lot of different things there. And then layer twos and all kinds of different things started to come into play. And around 2017, I found Steam, Hive, which was Steam at that time, or we were on Steam. And I wasn't a blogger. I didn't have a following. I didn't come over from YouTube. I didn't have any of that stuff. I was just a dude who showed up. And I started writing about different things. And because of my understanding of technology, I think I had a little bit different insight. And I realized early on the power of Steam, of Hive, and everybody at that point was pissing and moaning. This was before the bull run in late 2017, and they were saying, "Oh, the price of the token dropped," typical stuff. And I'm like, you guys don't really understand what you're sitting on here and the capabilities of it. And of course, we trudged along under Steemit Inc. and Ned, and not a lot of development, a lot of chasing our tail and that type of stuff. But when the fork finally happened and Hive came to life, I think we've seen more in the last 2 years than we did in Hive's existence before that, simply because you have the community taking control, and outfits like Block Trade and people like Howu, they're really at the base layer writing stuff that is brings functionality to the chain. And then, of course, you have the Speak Network guys, you got the Splinterland group, you got the Leo Finance group. You have all these different groups that are building at the second layer, deluxe and whatnot. And that's really, I think, pushing things forward. And we're still under the radar. There's not the hype.
Yeah. And how long you are in Hive blockchain? How long?
Next month, so August of 2017. So next month will be 5 years.
Wow, it's a long time. It's really a long time. So, and what do you like about Hive? Like maybe the most interesting thing that people have to look at in Hive blockchain?
Well, I think right now it's becoming very evident with all that's taking place in crypto with, a lot of these venture capitalist funded centralized applications and projects and exchanges all going belly up with regulation and the stablecoin industry. I think one of the most interesting things about Hive is you can say it's decentralized. The DPoS situation as it's structured, we got 20 consensus with block producers and then another 80 or 90 backup block producers who rotate through. You have a fairly decent token distribution. I'm not going to say it's an exceptional token distribution, but when you look at Hive, the biggest stakeholder may have 3 or 4%. Compare that with Ethereum, where Vitalik and the Ethereum Foundation, I think they control close to 40%. Block One has 50% or close to it of EOS. I don't even know what Hodgkinson has of Cardano. Justin Sun, we know, has an overwhelming amount of everything that he's involved in. So, like Bitcoin, I think what Hive's biggest appeal right now is that it's decentralized. It cannot be touched by any of this stuff because who are you going to go after? I mean, are you going to go knock on Block Trade's door? I mean, Block Trade isn't even being paid to develop. He's getting nothing from the DAO to develop. He's paying his people out of his pocket. So, who are you going to go after? They call me Dan. Are you going to go after Freedom? Nobody knows who the hell Freedom is.
Yeah, and many other accounts. I don't know. I wanted to create an interview about Hive, and I can choose anyone from Hive and talk to him. We don't have like a representative or CEO or something like that. So I choose you, for example.
That's a great point. For years, everybody said, well, you need a face. Apple had Steve Jobs and Vitalik's for Ethereum and Hodgkinson for Cardano, and we need a face, and Ned wasn't the face, and Hive needs a face, and we're realizing, no, you don't. Bitcoin doesn't really have a face, and that can be a negative because if all of a sudden you're associated with one individual, one company, one laboratory, one foundation. I wrote an article this morning. Solana, the foundation, laboratory, the founder, and one of the venture capital funds are being sued because somebody in California lost money and they claim, oh, well, this is a security and we weren't notified and all this stuff. So, what kind of ripple will this send through? Where does everybody who lose money turn in on Ethereum turn around and sue Vitalik and the Ethereum Foundation? If the price of Cardano goes down, is Hodgkinson going to find himself in court? With Hive, it's like, okay, good luck finding any of that. I mean, if you sent me a lawsuit, I'll laugh at you. It's like, I don't have anything to do with this. I don't know. I'm just somebody here producing content. And that's the same thing Ho would say. I mean, I don't even know what the hell country he's in. He's over in Europe somewhere. And, you go to the block producers. If you even know who some of these people are, which you don't, where the hell are they located? Who knows? Yeah. So that's, I think, one of the biggest strengths of Hive. And I believe firmly that will come out in the long run. Not necessarily the short term, but I think these developers of these applications are going to have to start looking at that and saying, wait, if I build on this blockchain and these entities are targeted, what's going to happen to my project? Where if you build on Hive, well, nobody can target anybody because what's there.
Yeah, that's nice. And by the way, I heard a lot of about Web3. So what is Web3? Like maybe a lot of people, I think a lot of my followers, they don't know what is Web3.
Yeah, that's answered in hindsight. It's like Web 2 was answered years after social media, mobile, and stuff like that. Web 3, I think Web 3, the best way to look at it is it's decentralization. Now, there's a lot of stuff out there that's promoting itself as Web 3, use it as a marketing term, but it's decentralization. It's a different node structure. Hive, in my opinion, is certainly Web 3 because it has a decentralization that we just discussed. It has the immutability of text storage, so you can put whatever data on the blockchain you want, and it's immutable once that block is validated. You have the account management system where nobody can take your account, nobody owns your account. And so basically you can take your Hive account and you can use that to sign into Leo Finance, to hive.blog, to PeakD, to Splinterlands. And what does it do? It all reads the same data from the blockchain. They may alter what they pull, but it still reads the same data. It reads all from the blockchain. Whereas if you go to Facebook and you put something on Facebook, you go to Twitter, your Facebook followers aren't the same. What you put on Facebook isn't on Twitter. If they close your Facebook account down, you can't get back in. You have to agree to their terms of service. So I think decentralized data storage and account ownership is the foundation of Web3. Then you can start getting onto the building blocks of NFTs, of tokenization, of different applications, different games, different secondary markets, then bringing in different communications like maybe AR, VR, things of that nature, and different technologies that we'll see down the road. But again, to get a clear definition, I mean, you get 100 people, they have 100 different views of what it looks like. And that to me is the basic foundation. And 15 years, we'll be able to look back and say, this is what Web3 is, which, you know, right now it's a little sketchy because we don't know which direction technology will go. Hell, maybe Web3 is completely and totally hologram based. I don't know.
Yeah. Anyway,
holograms run on quantum computing. So maybe that'll be Web3.
Yeah, your view is clear now, and I think a lot of people get it. Tell me please about Leo Finance. So you mentioned Leo Finance, and I've seen you there very active. So what is it, and why people should look at it as well?
Well, Leo Finance initially started by Khalil Kazi, at Khalil Kazi on Hive. He had the vision of Seeking Alpha, if anybody's familiar with that website. What Seeking Alpha is, it's a permission site, but they got a lot of different writers from a lot of different fields focusing on finance and investing. And so that was the initial idea of it, but it's since expanded. It's since grown in scope. It's now into DeFi. It's, of course, the flagship site is leofinance.io, which is a long-form blogging platform, but they're going to be bringing out a alternative, if you will, to Twitter, which will be for microblogging. They have DeFi applications on a couple different chains now, BNB and Polygon, where you can get involved in liquidity pools. You can earn tokens and earn returns. For that, they're going to be getting into bonding and lending protocols. And so basically it's I don't know if I want to call it a Web3 application yet, but it's an ecosystem or a platform being built in the Web3 arena. And with Leo Finance, again, you use your Hive account, or you can use your Hive account to access it. And it reads the same data off the blockchain. And every time you post on leofinance.io, that is being directed right to the blockchain. So somebody who uses a different front end can see it. And there's a Leo token, which is a proof of brain token, which proof of brain is Hive's basic structure, where the reward pool, the inflation that is distributed, a portion of it goes to those who create content and those who curate content. And Leo Finance used a second layer to create their own token. So if you post on Leo Finance and you get upvoted, you can get rewarded both in the Leo token and also potentially in Hive. So you're earning a couple different tokens. And so I see potentially, I wrote an article a couple weeks ago where Leo Finance could actually become a financial super center with offering all kinds of different services. But it's one of the ones I'm very high on because they keep developing. They have a team of developers. They're building stuff. They're providing utility. And I think that's very important. As we're seeing in the bear market, all the stuff that didn't have utility but had hype is going to crap.
Yeah. And I feel also it's like an investment club. We all learn about investing, etc. in Leo Finance. It's cool.
It's very interesting. You can learn about investing, you can learn about finance, and more importantly, you can learn about cryptocurrency. But you learn about cryptocurrency not only by reading about or watching videos about cryptocurrency, but if you're involved in the platform, you're actually involved in cryptocurrency. So you learn by doing. You get involved and you post an article and you get rewarded. You get a little crypto. Then you have to decide, well, what do I do with it? Do I stake it? Do I swap it for something else? You learn as you go.
Yeah, like learn and earn at the same time.
Learn and earn, exactly.
Okay. Okay, let's move to the last question, maybe the most important one for many people who join Hive and who want to grow and improve, or those who are maybe like censored in other social media and they want their voice to be heard, and those who want to improve in the Hive blockchain and join it. So what are the tips that you can give them?
Well, I think it depends on who you are. And what I mean by that, where Hive is right now working on building out infrastructure, the Hive ecosystem, not just Hive itself, the base layer, but there's a lot of infrastructure being built, especially by the Speak Network team that's targeting what you said, large content creators who potentially are being displaced by mainstream social media. So if you are a content creator, you have a large following, but you don't necessarily prescribe to the agenda that's being put forth by the mainstream media and social media, and you are at risk of being taken down, they are putting in place infrastructure where these content creators, their community can support them with infrastructure and storage of video and storage of content. Of course, they can spin up tokens and things like that. And hopefully by the end of the year, we'll have at least a working prototype for that. So if you are somebody who has a big following, that's something to look forward to. In the meantime, until that rolls out, you have the ability to come to Hive, big or small, get a Hive account, and post. It's a permissionless blockchain. So if you go and log in through Leo Finance, through PeakD, through hive.blog, through any of the front ends that post content to the blockchain, you post your content, it's saved on the blockchain. The blockchain is immutable. Once that block is validated and completely irreversible, which happens in about 40 seconds right now, which by the way, in the next hard fork, that's going to go down to about 4 seconds. But once that block can't be reversed in 40 seconds, your stuff's there for good. They can't take it down, and nobody can take can take down your account. So for those people who are at risk of being displaced by social media, I always suggest either use 3Speak for your videos and post your content through one of the front ends onto Hive, at least as a backup. So if they throw you off Facebook or YouTube, you don't lose all your work. At the same time, if you're new and you're trying to get going and you're just getting into the content creation world, whether it's you're into affiliate marketing or you have a hobby or an interest that you like to write about, or you want to gain a following, the tips are get involved. The tips are be consistent. The tips are start to comment. I've had people say, this doesn't work, this is bullshit, nobody follows my stuff. And I always have the same answer. Okay, over the next week, go out and write 500 legitimate comments, not bullshit comments of, oh, nice post, thank you. Go write 500 legitimate comments over the next week to 10 days on different blog posts and articles throughout Hive. And you will find after that time, you have more followers, you have more following, your articles will get more engagement, because you engage with other people. I think people forget this is social media, and social media means being social. And I don't know why people think that they come to Hive and all of a sudden they're going to get a huge following and get a bazillion upvotes. I mean, if you go to Twitter, I started on Twitter with nothing.
Nothing.
Uh,
They give nothing.
and I got a following very quickly on Twitter, all of Hive people. My following outside of Hive people is next to nothing. And if I started a YouTube channel today, it's going to take a long time to build a YouTube channel. That's just the way it is. I'm not going to get, monetization right off the bat and get 1,000 or 2,000 or 5,000 followers. Give me a break. But people come to Hive and say, well, why aren't people upvoting my comment? Put me on the content, put me on the front page. It's like nobody knows you exist. Get out there, meet people, interact, engage, comment, let people know who you are. And over time, people upvote your comments. That'll give you a little bit more Hive, or give you a little bit of Leo, or give you a little CTP or whatever. Do stuff like this, just by being around and interacting. Then all of a sudden you say, hey, listen, I make videos. Would you come on my video? Sure. I don't have a problem talking about Hive to anybody. I mean, you want that? Great. And that's how you get known. And then the tribes, the communities, so Leo Finance or CTP or STEM Geeks or whatever the specific tribes or communities are, those are a great way to stand out, because you get involved with them. Now you're very focused in what you're talking about, photography or finance or engineering and math and science, Cine TV, which talks about movies and TV shows. And now you go on to these platforms and you start talking about this stuff and writing about this stuff. Well, you'll stand out because you're not competing with everybody talking about all kinds of general stuff. You're talking about movies. And if you know about movies and you write good stuff about movies, you'll get rewarded. And the community is a lot smaller than Hive in general. There might be, 300 people on Cine TV or 200 people versus, 15,000 on Hive. So it's just a numbers game. So I would say consistency, stick with it, think long term. Don't worry about where you are today. Worry about where you're going to be in 5 years, because then you can build your account, you can build your following, and you can also ride the back of Hive, which is growing in many ways with the infrastructure and the projects and the different aspects, which also then you're going to ride this Web3 wave, to use the term you asked about earlier. That's what I suggest. And what I would certainly suggest you don't sit there pissing and moaning and, oh, nobody follows me, nobody likes me, I get no votes, I get no this, I write great stuff and I see all these crap posts getting all these rewards. That'll get you nowhere. And attacking the whales will get you nowhere. Attacking larger accounts gets you nowhere. And again, go in the tribes. I mean, I'm a decent sized account on Hive. I'm a big account in Leo, but you put me into some of these other tribes and I'm a nothing. I'm a nothing like everybody else. So, each of them has their own whales and they upvote content that they see. And if you show yourself to be dedicated to Hive or to Leo Finance or CTP or STEM or any of these different communities, those people who are truly involved and interested in those communities, who tend to have the stake, they're going to reward you. They like when people come in and say, hey, I like this group. I have knowledge about this and I'm dedicated. Hey, we all need help.
Excuse me, the fact that you are already like, you can say like famous and doing well in Hive, but despite that, you are active and you are very active, commenting a lot despite all your success, but you are keeping on that. That's a great example they should take.
Well, I look back, you've been on Hive a long time.
Yeah.
Think of the people over the years. Now that you brought it up, think back of the people over the years, let's say before the 4th, who were on Hive regularly or on Steam regularly, who you followed, you watched their videos, you read their posts almost on a daily basis, but certainly on a weekly basis. And they're gone. And here's the other thing. When's the last time you thought about those people? It's the old out of sight, out of mind. And let's be honest, I don't care how big you are on Hive. And yes, my content does rather well. I am very active, but I guarantee you, if I'm gone 6 months, most people forget about me. Maybe once in a while, somebody will say, hey, remember that Taskmaster? Whatever happened to him? But outside of that, oh, I don't know. He just disappeared one day. Maybe he died. That's the end of it. And everybody moves on. So it's you know, I think that's the same way even with major celebrities. You think about movie stars. You know, if they go with a few dud movies that don't do real well, then they're not getting jobs. All of a sudden, everybody forgets about them. It's like, oh, remember that kid who was in that movie? Whatever happened to him? Who
Yeah,
knows?
we can call that like proof of activity.
Yeah, proof of activity. Yeah, it's staying active and being consistent, showing up. John and I talk about this on Crypto Maniacs all the time. Showing up every day is vital. You have to show up every day. You have to build into your day, into your schedule, at some point in time to spend part of your day on chain engaging. And I said on chain, not in Discord, not,
Yeah, yeah,
anywhere like that, not on Twitter, not saying those are bad things per se,
yeah,
but on chain, getting into people's articles and comments, writing your articles, doing your videos, engaging with people who leave comments on your videos or your articles.
yeah,
That is crucial. And talk about pertinent stuff. Even if you're writing about, let's say, photography and that's your thing, that's cool. But once in a while, write something that's pertinent to Hive and, about what you see or about cryptocurrency, about the bear market, about what's going on that will be of interest to a wider array of people. And, yes, your focus may be cannabis or photography or gaming or Splinterlands, but at least if once in a while you drop that other stuff, you will enhance your following. But you have to show up every day because, again, and I said 6 months. I guarantee if I was gone 3 weeks, 4 weeks, most people forget about me. I mean, that's just the way we are by human nature.
yeah,
And, that's not anything special to me. That's all of us. So, if you want to stand out and you want to stay standing out, you have to keep showing up and put in the effort. And here's the other thing, going back to success on Hive, take ownership. If you have Hive power up, if you have Leo, if you have CTP, if you have whatever, you have stake. Take ownership. You are now a owner of this ecosystem, of this community. You have influence. Have that attitude. Show yourself to be dedicated, because that's what people like. They call me Dan, block trades,
yeah,
Starkers, Smooth. This is what those people look for, Marky Mark, because they themselves are very dedicated to this blockchain. And in our time on the blockchain, we've seen a lot of people come and go, a lot of fly-by-nighters, a lot of people came and did a few things for even a couple of years and then
yeah,
bye-bye. That doesn't cut it. Show yourself that you're
mm,
tried and true. They call me dad, says ride or die. And he says, I like to say, where I'm going to take this thing to the peak of the tallest mountain, or I'm going to ride it right to the depths of the deepest ocean. And I don't know which way Hive's going to go, but I'm just going to hang on, and whether it reaches the apex or the nadir, I'm going to
yeah,
be there right at the end. So it's sink or swim. And
yeah. From what I see, it's the best place where to be now.
I agree with you. I
Yeah,
don't see us going to the bottom of the ocean. I tend to
yeah,
think that the top of the mountain is more likely and probable. But you never know what could happen. And I appreciate people who do that. And I mean, my focus tends to be Leo finance. I make no bones about that. So if somebody comes in and gets very active on Leo finance and is supportive and engaging, I'll support them however I can. I mean, I hand out a lot of votes on comments every day, and
yeah,
it's like, I don't know, now I think it's down to 0.7 Leo, so the person gets like 0.35 Leo. I mean, just for a comment, that's nothing wrong with that. Okay, the price of Leo's in the toilet, but it's a bear market. Everything's in the
yeah.
toilet.
Compared to Facebook and Twitter, they get nothing there.
Exactly. You're right. I mean, it's I can place on Facebook's, or excuse me, I can place upvotes on Twitter all day long, and there's the value of those upvotes to me and to the other person is zero.
Zero.
On Twitter, on Leo Finance, it has a little value. On Hive, it has a little value. And over time, if you write 1,000 comments and get 0.35 Hive for each comment, after a while, that adds up to some comment, to some decent Leo Or
And
Hive.
by the way, nobody knows if that 2 cents will turn to 10 or 20 cents after in the future. So if
Well,
you keep it,
that's
that's
the
another
other
thing.
thing. If you're looking at Leo, whatever the
Yeah.
hell it's at 5 cents, 6 cents, 3 cents, 8 cents, wherever it's at now. What if all of a sudden it 10x's? So all of a sudden that 3 cents becomes 30 cents, and then you times that by 1,000. It's like, oh crap, I got a little bit of money here.
Yeah.
That's how it works. That's the speculation side of things. But that's the great thing about Hive. Everybody talks about dollar cost averaging in the bear. We have the ability to dollar cost average just from our efforts. So
Yeah.
when you get rewarded for a comment or an article, and that goes in your wallet, it brings the cost down, and you're adding the cost of zero to it. So you're dollar cost averaging at the best cost there is. I didn't pay anything for the additional tokens, but they came in.
Yeah.
And that's a great thing. And that's kind of unique for Hive. I don't spend a lot of time looking around, but where else can you do it? Yeah, you got Mind, you got Steam, you got
Yeah.
a few others out there, but for the most part, I mean, you go to Ethereum, if you're not mining it, you're buying it. If you're not mining Bitcoin, you're buying it. If
Oh,
you're
Ethereum, they ask for gas for everything. For example, in Hive, we write for free, we post for free, we comment for free, upvote for free. They ask for the gas for everything. Like, I don't know, it's crazy for me.
Yeah, it's not technically free. It's feeless. You have to have your Hive power to be able to
Yeah, at
transact.
least.
So in that regard, Hive is an access token. It gives you access to the blockchain. But as long as you have enough resource credits that come from staking
Yeah.
Hive, yeah, you can operate all day long and transact. And there's no direct gas fee. And even if you can't, if you burn up all your resource credits, well, you wait a couple of days, they recharge. You don't get your gas back from Ethereum. I mean, you pay the gas fee, it's
Yeah.
gone. It's in
Gone.
somebody else's hands. You don't get that money back. And
Yeah. And the other
so
thing, sorry, the other thing, I think in the future, maybe the resource credits will be able to delegate, no?
yes,
I heard
in a
also
couple of
something
weeks
about that.
with the next Hive fork. Well, I think that's very valuable for applications. You look at a Splinterland, you look at a Leo Finance, you look at Ragnarok, you look at CyberX, you look at any of these projects that you would think would attract users from the outside and get people involved. Well, for them to do anything that ties into their blockchain, we know they need resource credits. And the only way to go about it now is to delegate Hive power to them, enough Hive power that they can get the resource credits from that associated Hive power. But if you give the applications the ability to say, okay, you go buy this Hive, power it up, you get this much resource credits, you can delegate the resource credits, but you keep getting the voting power and the power of the Hive power for account claims and things of that nature. That is very interesting to these applications because they can keep growing their Hive power stake. They can keep growing the amount of accounts they claim, but they can also allow their users to engage in and operate on chain, which they can't do right now unless they actually send that Hive power to that account. So I think it'll be a great thing. We'll see. One interesting question I have is that going to stimulate people to start to buy Hive power as investors, buy Hive, power it up, and then do something with some type of resource credit leasing or some type of resource credit pool if that's built. It'll be interesting to see where that goes because that could turn into something interesting. And if nothing else, it may be a situation where, well, I don't know if that would work exactly, but maybe somebody could get rewarded for delegating
For
out
example, yes.
their resource credits. So let's say a Leo Finance, let's say I have all these resource credits. I can't delegate my resource credits to Leo Finance and then them redelegate them. But what I could do is maybe I could delegate my resource credits to who they say, like one of their users, and then they give me Leo in return. I don't know, maybe something like that could be built. So I think there's a lot of interesting possibilities that could create even more demand for Hive. But ultimately, I believe a lot of these solutions come from more users if there's more people, if we suddenly get an application that's attracting a lot of users, like I'm very excited about Project Blank. I think that can pull in 50 or 100,000 users in, probably 6 to 9 months. That will require a lot of accounts. That will require a lot of resource credits. Thus, that will require a lot of Hive. So
yeah, that's
we'll see if that read is correct or not.
Yeah, that's really nice. We are running out from time, so I think Hive has really a lot of potential. And maybe the last thing you wanted to say, we have 1 minute.
It just, again, if you're new, don't get discouraged. It's not easy when you're new. Stick with it. It's overwhelming. I understand. If you don't really know cryptocurrency, what the hell do all these keys mean? What do people, trust me, if you spend the time learning about this stuff, it will be worth it in the long run.
Yeah, thank you very much for this interview. It was awesome. I hope
thank you for having me.
We collaborate in the future even more. I am very thankful to you.
Thanks for having me.
Okay, see you.